Stay right where you are. Yes, you heard that correctly. If you've been feeling tired of searching, exhausted from trying, or quietly asking yourself why love hasn't found you yet, this message is for you. What if the reason nothing has worked is because you were never meant to chase? What if the connection you've been praying for is already in motion, aligning, preparing, and coming toward you at the perfect moment? Imagine the peace of knowing you don't have to beg, prove, or compete anymore. Your soulmate recognizes your value without effort. Have you noticed the signs lately? Repeating thoughts, sudden calm after loneliness, the feeling that something is about to change. What if this season of waiting isn't punishment, but preparation? In this video, you'll understand why staying where you are protects you, how patience positions you for the right person, and why being alone right now doesn't mean being forgotten. Stay until the end, because what you're about to hear may completely change how you see love and yourself. Before we go any further, pause for a second. If this message is already speaking to you, make sure you stay until the end and don't skip anything. What you're about to hear builds step by step, and missing one part could mean missing the sign meant specifically for you. Stay present, stay open, and let this unfold exactly as it's meant to. There is a reason your life feels unusually quiet right now, and no, it is not emptiness. Silence is not absence. It is positioning. When everything slows down, when conversations fade, when distractions fall away, that is when alignment begins. Most people panic in this phase. They assume something is wrong and rush to fill the space with the wrong connections, the wrong choices, the wrong people. But you were stopped on purpose. This pause is not rejection, it is precision. Every delay you experience protected you from crossing paths too early, before growth, before clarity, before readiness. If your soulmate had met the version of you from the past, the connection would have collapsed under weight it could not carry. That is why nothing forced itself to stay. This moment right now is not random. It is the narrow window where two paths are finally adjusting to meet without breaking. And here is the loop most people miss. The more you understand why you were told to stay still, the more you'll realize how close the movement actually is. Now listen carefully, because this is where many people lose what was meant for them. When the soul senses proximity, the mind creates urgency. You start questioning yourself, doubting timing, wondering if you should do something. But stillness is not passivity. It is obedience to alignment. Right now, something is unfolding without noise. The person meant for you is being redirected, corrected, and refined at the same time you are. You are not waiting alone. You are waiting together, just not in the same place yet. That feeling you can't explain, the mix of calm and anticipation, is the signal that distance is shrinking. Right now, you need to understand something most people never realize until it's too late. This moment of stillness is not accidental, and it is not empty. It exists because movement is already happening somewhere else. When life goes quiet around you, when the noise fades and the options narrow, it's because precision has begun. Nothing random survives this phase. Every distraction that once pulled your attention is being removed, so nothing interferes with what's aligning. That's why forcing connections feels heavier than ever, why casual interactions feel hollow, why pretending no longer works. You are not being deprived, you are being refined. Every unanswered message, every ending that didn't make sense, every pause that made you question your worth was necessary to bring you into this exact emotional and mental position. Because if you were still chasing, still reaching, still settling, you would miss what's moving toward you. And here's the loop most people never catch. The closer the meeting gets, the less dramatic it feels on the surface. Calm replaces chaos. Certainty replaces hunger. The silence you're in now is not a void, it's a corridor. And corridors are not places you decorate, they're places you pass through. The reason this feels different is because this time, you're not being asked to prove anything. You're being asked to stay receptive. What's coming doesn't need effort to find you. It needs clarity to recognize you, and clarity only forms in stillness. That's why you were guided here. That's why nothing else worked. And that's why leaving this position now would interrupt a process already in motion. There is something else happening beneath the surface that explains why your patience is being tested more than ever. When two paths are being aligned, resistance always appears right before convergence. Doubt grows louder. Old habits resurface. The urge to do something intensifies. This is not coincidence, it's conditioning. Life is checking whether you trust alignment more than impulse. Because the greatest mistake people make at this stage is confusing silence with stagnation. They assume nothing is happening and create unnecessary movement, pulling themselves out of position just moments before arrival. That's why you're being reminded to stay where you are. The connection meant for you doesn't arrive through force, it arrives through recognition. And recognition only happens when both people are finally seeing clearly. Right now, while you're learning how to be alone without feeling incomplete, the other person is learning how to stop running, stop repeating cycles, stop choosing distractions over depth. You are not being prepared separately, you are being prepared simultaneously. The timing feels slow because depth takes time. But here's the emotional loop. Every day you remain where you are, you increase the probability of the meeting happening cleanly, without confusion, without misalignment, without unnecessary pain. This waiting isn't passive, it's protective. And the calm you're feeling, even when loneliness whispers, is evidence that your intuition already knows what your mind is still trying to understand. Now, let this sink in, because this is where everything shifts. The reason this message feels personal is because it's meeting you at the exact point where surrender becomes strength. You are no longer asking when or how. You're being invited to trust why. The version of you that needed reassurance would have chased signs. The version of you now receives confirmation through inner knowing. That subtle sense that something is lining up, that feeling that your season is changing, that quiet confidence you can't explain, those are not emotions, they are signals. You're standing at the intersection where patience turns into permanence. And the moment you stop trying to speed things up, life accelerates on your behalf. This is why staying matters. This is why waiting matters. This is why the next connection will feel effortless instead of draining. Because when it arrives, it won't need convincing, proving, or uncertainty. It will feel familiar before it feels new. And if you're wondering why this hasn't happened yet, remember this loop. Preparation always feels longer than the reward, but the reward always lasts longer than the wait. What's coming is not just a person. It's the end of feeling alone in your own presence. What you may not realize yet is that this phase you're in is recalibrating your emotional frequency. For a long time, you were operating from desire mixed with fear, hope mixed with doubt, wanting connection but bracing for disappointment. That internal contradiction attracts unstable outcomes. Now, something different is happening. You're learning how to want without chasing, how to desire without desperation, how to be open without being empty. This is the internal shift that changes everything. The reason it feels uncomfortable is because your nervous system is learning a new baseline. Chaos used to feel familiar. Uncertainty used to feel normal. But what's coming requires stability, not survival mode. That's why life slowed you down. That's why impulsive options faded. You're being trained to recognize peace as attraction. And here's the emotional loop. Once peace becomes your standard, you no longer connect with people who confuse intensity for intimacy. You start waiting for resonance instead of sparks. And the person moving toward you is being trained in the same way, whether they realize it or not. You might be wondering why the universe or timing or life itself seems to be asking so much patience from you specifically. The answer is simple, but not easy. Depth takes longer to align. Shallow connections happen quickly because they don't require transformation. But what's being prepared for you isn't meant to pass through your life. It's meant to stay. That kind of connection demands that both people arrive healed enough to choose each other freely, not cling to each other out of fear. Right now, you're learning how to stand alone without closing your heart. That's rare. Most people either isolate or attach. You're being taught balance. And the loop here is powerful. The moment you stop fearing solitude, solitude stops lasting. Because loneliness was never the punishment, it was the classroom. And graduation happens quietly, without announcement, right before the lesson is no longer needed. There's also a reason old memories, old faces, or old patterns may be resurfacing in your mind lately. This isn't nostalgia, it's closure. Your mind is clearing unfinished emotional files, so nothing bleeds into what's next. Think of it like packing light before a long journey. You can't carry outdated expectations into a new chapter without distorting it. That's why you're being reminded of what you survived, what you tolerated, and what you outgrew. Not to pull you back, but to show you how far your standards have shifted. And here's the mental loop. The more clearly you see what no longer fits, the more obvious it becomes that what's coming could never have arrived earlier. Timing didn't delay you, you matured into it. And maturity attracts stability, not chaos. Pay attention to how your intuition has become louder, while your need for validation has become quieter. That's not coincidence. External reassurance fades when internal alignment strengthens. You're no longer looking for someone to save you, distract you, or complete you. You're ready for someone to walk beside you. That distinction changes the entire outcome, because love built on need creates pressure, but love built on choice creates safety. Right now, you're learning how to choose yourself without isolating yourself. And the person meant for you is learning how to choose commitment without losing themselves. Those lessons can't be rushed. They unfold until resistance dissolves, and the loop continues. Once both people stop running from themselves, they stop missing each other. What makes this moment especially important is that impatience right now doesn't just slow things down, it reroutes them. When you abandon alignment for distraction, you step out of the current guiding you. That's why the message is clear. Stay where you are, not physically, but energetically. Don't lower your standards out of boredom. Don't reopen doors out of loneliness. Don't confuse availability with compatibility. This is the phase where discernment matters more than desire. And the emotional hook is this. The restraint you practice now prevents regret later. You're not missing out. You're avoiding detours. And detours always cost more time than waiting ever does. Sooner than you expect, something subtle will shift. Not fireworks, not chaos, clarity. A conversation that feels different. A presence that feels familiar. an interaction that doesn't drain you, and you'll realize why everything else had to fall away. The connection won't feel rushed or dramatic. It will feel steady, safe, undeniable. And when that happens, you'll look back at this waiting period with gratitude instead of frustration. You'll understand that stillness wasn't emptiness. It was alignment completing itself. And this is why you're here now, hearing this, being reminded not to move. Because the moment you truly settle into trust is often the moment movement arrives. There is a deeper layer to this waiting that few people talk about, and it's the part that decides whether the connection, once it arrives, actually lasts. Right now, you're being taught emotional self-regulation. In the past, love may have felt like anxiety, anticipation, and uncertainty wrapped together. Your nervous system learned to associate unpredictability with passion. But what's coming cannot grow in that environment. A lasting bond requires emotional safety, not emotional spikes. That's why your life feels slower, quieter, even boring at times. Your system is resetting. You're learning how to feel grounded without external stimulation. And here's the loop that keeps people watching closely. Once your body no longer confuses chaos with chemistry, you become invisible to unstable connections and magnetic to stable ones. This is not something you can fake or force. It has to be lived into. And you are living into it right now, whether you consciously chose it or not. You may also notice that your standards have changed without effort. Things you once tolerated now feel unacceptable. Conversations that used to excite you now feel shallow. This isn't arrogance, it's calibration. You didn't become harder to please, you became harder to manipulate, and that shift is essential. The person meant for you does not arrive to fill a void, they arrive to meet you at your level. That's why settling feels impossible now. Your intuition rejects misalignment before your mind can justify it. And here's the emotional loop. Every time you say no to what's almost right, you say yes to what's actually meant for you, even if it hasn't appeared yet. The absence you feel is not loss, it's space being protected. Another reason this phase feels intense is because identity is stabilizing. You're no longer defining yourself by who chooses you, who stays or who leaves. You're defining yourself by how you choose. That shift removes desperation from the equation. And desperation is what ruins timing more than anything else. When you stop needing proof, life stops testing you. When you stop begging for clarity, clarity shows up. And here's the loop that keeps unfolding. The more whole you feel alone, the less alone you remain. Wholeness shortens waiting because it removes resistance. Resistance is what delays alignment, not time. It's also important to understand that the person coming toward you is not perfect, but they are prepared. They are not arriving to heal you, and you are not arriving to fix them. That's the old pattern, and it never lasts. This time, the connection is built on mutual responsibility, not mutual wounds. Right now, both of you are learning the same lesson from opposite sides of life. You're learning patience without withdrawal. They're learning commitment without escape. You're learning trust without control. They're learning vulnerability without fear. And the loop is simple but powerful. When lessons match, paths meet. As the alignment completes, you may feel moments of restlessness followed by sudden calm. That's the internal shift happening in waves. Don't misinterpret the restlessness as a sign to act. It's simply the energy adjusting to a new frequency. Think of it like tuning an instrument before a performance. If you rush the tuning, the sound is distorted. If you allow the process, the harmony is undeniable. This is the stage where silence matters more than action, presence matters more than pursuit, and trust matters more than reassurance. When the meeting finally happens, it won't feel like searching anymore. It will feel like recognition. Not because you've imagined it, but because your nervous system will relax instead of react. There will be no urgency to define, no pressure to secure, no fear of loss in the first moments. That's how you'll know this was worth waiting for. And when that clarity arrives, the waiting ends without announcement. No dramatic shift, no warning, just alignment becoming visible. Until then, stay where you are. Not because nothing is happening, but because everything is. There is one more truth you need to hear, because this is where many people unconsciously sabotage what is meant for them. Right before alignment completes, the ego gets louder. It starts whispering that you're wasting time, that you're falling behind, that everyone else is moving forward while you're standing still. This voice is not intuition. It's fear losing control. Fear thrives on urgency. Alignment thrives on trust. And the reason this internal conflict feels stronger now is because you are closer than ever to stepping into something permanent. Temporary things don't trigger this level of resistance. Only life-changing shifts do. The loop here is subtle but powerful. The closer you get to stability, the more instability tries to pull you back into old patterns. Recognizing this is what keeps you anchored instead of reactive. You may notice that your desire for love hasn't disappeared, but the way you desire it has changed. You're no longer craving intensity, you're craving consistency. You're no longer chasing attention, you're craving presence. That shift is not random. It's proof that you are no longer compatible with lessons, you're compatible with outcomes. Lessons come with confusion, outcomes come with clarity, and clarity doesn't shout, it settles. That's why your heart feels quieter, even when it wants connection. You're no longer asking, will I be chosen? You're asking, is this aligned? That single question changes everything. And here's the loop that keeps unfolding. Once alignment becomes the filter, the right connection has no competition. Understand this clearly. Staying where you are does not mean doing nothing. It means not interfering with what is already unfolding. It means resisting the urge to downgrade your standards just to feel occupied. It means trusting that absence is sometimes evidence of precision, not neglect. The connection meant for you does not require chasing, convincing, or proving. It requires availability at the right moment. And availability is not about being everywhere. It's about being centered. You are being asked to stay centered. That's why distractions feel unfulfilling. That's why random options don't excite you. Your system knows something specific is approaching, and it refuses substitutes. Soon, very soon, you'll notice a shift in how you move through your days. The waiting will stop feeling heavy and start feeling neutral. That neutrality is the sign that attachment has dissolved. And attachment is what stretches waiting into suffering. When attachment fades, timing speeds up. This is one of the quiet laws of alignment. The moment you stop measuring time, time rearranges itself, and the loop closes beautifully here. When you no longer need the outcome to feel whole, the outcome arrives to share wholeness with you. When the connection finally enters your life, it won't disrupt your peace. It will complement it. It won't create confusion. It will clarify. You won't feel the need to perform, impress, or overextend. You'll feel recognized, not evaluated. And in that moment, you'll understand why every delay was necessary, why every ending was protective, why every quiet season mattered. You'll see that staying where you were wasn't stagnation. It was faith in motion. Until that moment arrives, remain steady, remain open, remain exactly where you are. Because what's coming doesn't need you to move toward it. It needs you to be ready when it arrives. As this alignment reaches its final phase, something subtle but unmistakable begins to happen inside you. Urgency dissolves into readiness. You're no longer counting days or looking for signs with desperation. Instead, you feel an inner confirmation that doesn't need proof. This is the emotional maturity that most people never reach before entering relationships, and it's exactly why so many connections fail. They begin from lack, not fullness. But you are no longer operating from lack. You've learned how to sit with yourself without abandoning yourself, and that skill alone changes your entire future. The loop here is important. The more complete you feel on your own, the less likely you are to attract someone who feeds on incompleteness. What's coming to you requires strength, not dependency, and strength is built in seasons like this one. You may also realize that you're no longer afraid of missing out. That fear once pushed you into situations that drained you, conversations that went nowhere, and attachments that cost you your peace. Now the fear has been replaced with discernment. You understand that not every opportunity is a blessing, and not every open door leads somewhere good. This awareness is not caution, it's wisdom. And wisdom creates selectivity. The connection meant for you will not require you to abandon this wisdom. It will meet it. And here's the emotional loop. When you stop fearing emptiness, emptiness stops appearing, because fear was never protecting you. It was pulling you into repetition. At this stage, it's common to feel moments of emotional detachment from the idea of love itself. Don't misinterpret this as giving up. It's actually integration. Love is no longer something you're reaching for. It's something you're ready to experience correctly. You're not closed, you're calibrated. That's a powerful difference. Calibration means you know what resonates and what doesn't without needing to test everything. And the person moving toward you is undergoing the same calibration from their side. That's why random connections don't intersect anymore. The margin for error is shrinking, paths are narrowing, and when paths narrow, meetings become inevitable. There's also a reason this message keeps emphasizing staying where you are. It's not about physical location, it's about emotional posture. Stay grounded. Stay honest with yourself. Stay committed to your standards even when no one is watching, because alignment responds to consistency, not intensity. Intensity burns fast and fades. Consistency builds slowly and lasts, and the loop continues. The quieter your commitment to yourself becomes, the louder alignment works on your behalf. When the moment arrives, it may come through the simplest interaction. No grand entrance, no dramatic build-up, just a feeling of ease that feels unfamiliar at first because it doesn't demand anything from you. That's how you'll know. Your body won't brace, your mind won't spiral, your heart won't race with anxiety. It will settle. And settling is not boredom, it's safety. Safety is what allows love to grow roots instead of just sparks. Until then, remember this: nothing about this season is wasted. Every day you remain aligned, you are shortening the distance between you and what's meant for you. Every time you choose patience over panic, you protect your future. And every moment you stay where you are, emotionally steady, mentally clear, spiritually grounded, you are saying yes to a connection that doesn't arrive to disrupt your life, but to walk into it naturally. Stay, not because you're stuck, but because you're exactly where alignment can find you. And now, here is the final truth that completes everything you've been feeling, questioning, and sensing throughout this entire season. What you are experiencing right now is not waiting anymore. It is convergence. Waiting feels heavy, uncertain, and draining. Convergence feels quiet, grounded, and strangely calm. That calm is not resignation, it's readiness. It's the moment when effort is no longer required because alignment has taken over. This is why you don't feel the urge to search like before. This is why forcing connections feels wrong instead of tempting. You are no longer orbiting the outcome. You are being positioned to meet it. And the loop closes here. When resistance disappears, arrival becomes inevitable. What's meant for you doesn't need chasing because it's already moving with equal momentum toward the same point in time. Two paths, once misaligned, now narrowing into one moment. When this connection enters your life, it will not announce itself as destiny. It will feel natural, steady, and oddly familiar. There will be no fear of loss, no pressure to define, no anxiety about being replaced. Instead, there will be recognition, the quiet kind that settles into your chest and tells you this is safe. That is how you'll know this was worth every delay. Not because it was dramatic, but because it doesn't require effort to maintain. You won't need to convince, chase, or overgive. You'll simply show up as yourself, and that will be enough. This is why you were asked to stay where you are. Because moving prematurely would have placed you out of sync with something that required precision. Timing didn't slow you down. It protected the outcome. And if you're listening to this right now, feeling that deep internal confirmation, understand this clearly. You did not miss your moment. You are inside it. This season ends not with noise, but with alignment becoming visible. So remain steady, remain open, remain grounded, because what's coming doesn't arrive through force. It arrives through readiness, and you are ready. If this message resonated with you, stay connected. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment, "I stay aligned" below. Not for me, but as a commitment to yourself. And don't leave yet. The next video may be the confirmation you didn't know you needed.